Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's Pick a Pile reading is all about a major shift that is about to happen. There are 3 piles for you to choose from. From left to right we have piles 1, 2, and then 3. Once you have picked your pile, head to the timestamp for it in the description below. Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. This card brings a sense of unveiling, as if a veil is being lifted and you're finally seeing things clearly. That clarity may come gradually, perhaps through a conversation, an insight, or simply the inner calm that follows turmoil. As you step into this shift, notice how your mind begins to align with your deeper knowing. What once felt confusing now has a tone of resonance guiding you forward. Truth is not always easy, but it is liberating. In the days ahead, you may realize that staying in certain patterns or holding back from your authentic self is no longer sustainable. There's an honesty emerging inside of you, a truth that's ready to be spoken, moved toward, or acted upon. This message is the precursor to that transformation, and your integrity will be the compass that steers it. You'll find that lying low no longer suits you. The momentum building around you calls for witnessing and participating in your own clarity. Something that was hidden, overlooked, or denied is now finding its way to the surface. And when it does, you'll feel each breath lighten, each step grow more purposeful. The energy here isn't about forcing things or confronting everything at once. It's about recognizing what's genuine and significant and aligning your actions accordingly. This is the invitation of a major shift, subtle but undeniable and entirely rooted in your truth. This card shows that things may not feel balanced yet. You're likely carrying too many priorities or juggling responsibilities that no longer serve your growth. Movement is happening, but resistance persists when you try to cling to everything at once. The universe is calling for a recalibration, and while it may feel uncomfortable at first, it's a necessary step for you to fully engage with what's coming. Rather than being overwhelmed by everything, this moment invites discernment. You need to ask yourself which elements of your life demand attention and what has overstayed its welcome. This isn't about giving up, it's about adjusting. By letting go of the unnecessary, you'll create space for what actually aligns with your next chapter. Releasing what's out of harmony may be harder than it looks, especially if it comes with nostalgia or obligation, but reminding yourself that every choice to let go strengthens your capacity for clarity can ease the transition. You're not sacrificing, you're optimizing your energy. This rebalancing may also spark a kind of inner alignment, restoring your ability to flow with what's real. Once that happens, you'll feel the shift not as a loss, but as a stepping stone. Here enters the energy of experimentation, a tangible, grounded spark of curiosity. After the release and truth-finding, you'll begin to sense what's possible. This could take the form of a practical idea, a learning opportunity, or even a small investment in yourself. What matters is that this impulse is rooted in real-world application, not fantasy. That impulse could be as simple as starting a new routine, signing up for a course, or sketching out an idea you've been holding inside. Whatever the form, it's a nudge towards tangible growth. It doesn't need to be perfect, it only needs to exist. Notice how this feel-good momentum begins to echo a shift in your mindset. As soon as you honor your curiosity, something internal changes. Goals become more lifelike, confidence grows in steps, and you're reminding yourself that you are not just thinking of change, you're initiating it. Your willingness to test the waters will shape the transformation more than any big leap ever could. Keep your steps practical. Let this small commitment light the way. Now the emotional dimensions come into play. The Knight of Cups brings in sincerity, openness, and a willingness to lead with heart. After releasing what no longer fits and starting something grounded, this card signals a time when your emotional invitations will align with action. You're moving from logic-based recalibration into harmony with your deepest desires. This might show up as a reconnection with someone, a renewed expression of creativity, or an earnest message you've been meaning to send. The tone here is more poetic than practical, soft, hopeful, and genuine. And your tone matters. If you're stepping into a meeting or starting a project, adding care and creativity makes this shift feel alive. Your emotional courage will inspire others, even if your plans are still in the early stages. What you offer in this phase is a heartfelt presence, and as the shift deepens, that energy will radiate outward, influencing how others receive everything you're creating. Heart isn't always loud, but it is clear. Let yourself follow its gentle signals. In this wave of transformation, you will encounter a moment of release. The reversal of the Five of Cups speaks to a recovery from disappointment, a soft turning away from regrets, missteps, or what didn't work out. You're not denying loss, but you are choosing to acknowledge what's still good and what still matters. That shift won't feel empty. Instead, things will begin to fall into place. The grief will lighten, the path forward will grow more vibrant, and this reversal represents not just healing, but redemption, finding beauty in the aftermath rather than walking around it. Allow yourself to appreciate what's still standing: inner strength, supportive people, and small victories. Notice how gratitude transforms disappointment. As you come to see what's available to you, rather than what's gone, you step into your new chapter with grace. This is the emotional foundation your new beginning needs. With that foundation, movement becomes steadier, truer, and more aligned than it ever was before. You close this sequence facing a decision. An important one, but it's not overwhelming. The Two of Swords shows you standing at a quiet crossroads, not because the choice is confusing, but because your clarity is still warm, tender, and unfolding. You may be asked to set a boundary, say a committed yes, or trust the truth you've uncovered. This moment is less about choosing between black and white, it's about trusting the middle tone, the gray area that feels authentic. Your truth, your shift, and your wisdom have aligned to a point where instinct becomes reliable. If there is anxiety, it's the kind that stems from stepping into your own power. Remember that standing still isn't necessary. It's enough to hold clarity in silence before speaking or acting. You know what's important, you see the path. Trusting that inner eyesight is all you need to move forward. The major shift you're preparing for isn't something that happens to you, you're stepping toward it, grounded in truth and rebuilding from the inside out. This is your moment. So that's what I'm getting for pile 1. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. This card signals the beckoning of your inner strength, a quiet force that's been waiting for the clarity to fully emerge. Power, in this context, isn't about showing off or pushing others aside. It is the serene confidence of knowing who you are and honoring that identity at every turn. As the shift unfolds, you'll notice that speaking your truth or drawing a clear boundary feels less burdensome and more life-giving. Your power will become as simple and solid as breathing. Over time, this may manifest in unexpected ways. Perhaps there's a conversation you've been avoiding or a stretch goal you've brushed aside. This shift will coax you into finally giving voice to those urges, not out of obligation, but because it feels necessary. Each moment, you choose truth over ease. You rekindle your own agency. This is not an emotional sprint, it's a steady path. You'll begin to see where you naturally assert yourself, not through dominance, but through integrity. Actions aligned with your values will arrive not as feats, but as fluid motions of choice. In that space, your presence softens and sharpens simultaneously, embodying calm command. At its core, this card invites you to release the old need for validation and replace it with self-recognition. As you honor your own small victories, deciding, speaking, and witnessing, you won't just regain power, you'll reclaim your essence. That foundation will quietly command respect from your environment. By the end of this shift, your power won't feel like something you turned on, it'll feel like something you let return. Here, we confront where your power has been muted. The reversed Queen of Wands represents energy that was once bold, creative, and radiant, but has become dulled by self-doubt or external pressures. You might have dimmed your own brightness to blend in or to avoid conflict. Now, that suppression shows up as hesitation or lack of conviction when you most need it. This isn't about criticizing past choices. It's about observing how the energy served you and how it's time to unlearn what no longer does. That part of you that once led with fire had good reason to reign in that fire, but the shift ahead requires slicing through that gloom and honoring the spark that's still there. You may begin to catch moments where you assess your ideas and decide not to share them. That is your cue. Challenge it, not aggressively, but with curiosity. What would it feel like to stretch your creative voice just once? What if you offered your ideas without apology? Each gentle step toward reclaiming your voice shifts your internal atmosphere. You're allowed to shine, you're allowed to lead. This shift asks you to remember that brilliance is not optional, it's your design. Now your power takes shape through consistency. The Knight of Pentacles brings grounding, reliability, and progress rooted in patience. Instead of bold leaps, you'll find strength in showing up, day after day, watering the seeds of your transformation through small, purposeful acts. Maybe you start with a simple ritual, a morning check-in with yourself, a draft written, maybe a boundary reinforced. These actions might seem mundane now, but they build a structure that holds greater challenges at ease. It's in this structure that your power begins to feel real, not dramatic, but durable. As you gather these small milestones, you'll find that others start to notice, not because you're flashing, but because your steadiness is a lighthouse. They'll lean into your guidance, ask for your opinion, and respect your rhythms. That quiet acknowledgement is the echo of integrity. Long-term change isn't earned in fireworks, it's built in foundations. And today, as you plan and proceed, your power becomes something tangible you can build on. Here lies the cleansing moment, the invitation to leave secrets, manipulations, or internal justifications behind. The reverse Seven of Swords signals your decision to live in transparency, both outwardly and inwardly. You're no longer inclined to hide parts of yourself, especially not to avoid discomfort or maintain illusions. This might involve clearing accountability with someone you misled, or finally admitting a truth to yourself. These moments of honesty hold tremendous power, especially when they feel risky. Yes, walls may tremble, yes, perceptions may shift, but that's the point. Rewrite the narrative from a place of integrity, and your personal sovereignty deepens. Even if you don't get that closure, your commitment to authenticity shifts internal power dynamics. It's a decision to stand whole, not unseen. That inner liberation is worth more than maintaining any facade. Your emergent power lies in that vulnerability. With integrity grounded, energy accelerates. The Knight of Swords brings a pulse of decisive movement. Now that you're not shielding yourself or shying away, you'll find your thoughts sharpen and your impulses align. A conversation, trajectory, or an idea that feels stalled moves into motion, with clarity as your engine. This speed isn't chaotic impulsiveness, it's the confidence to follow through once the direction becomes clear. When the idea strengthens and your foundation holds, hesitation becomes an unnecessary drag. So you act, you speak, and you move, and you do it with precision. Others may feel the momentum shift and instinctively match it. Before long, you're not just leading yourself, you're catalyzing energy around you. Let this energy speak to the strength you reclaimed, swift, sure, and aligned. Finally, your transformation culminates with emotional renewal. The Ace of Cups signals an opening of the heart, fresh wells of compassion, love, or creativity emerging from your realigned self. This isn't sweet sentimentality, it's a revelation that power and softness are not opponents. You might experience new inspiration, a clearing of emotional baggage, or a reconnection with trust, either towards others or yourself. This renewed emotion isn't just comforting, it's magnetic. People will gravitate towards your authenticity. Where once you dimmed yourself to protect your heart, now your heart radiates as a foundation, not a vulnerability. And that is true power in its most elegant form. So that's what I'm getting for pile 2. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into it. This card invites you to a space of intentional decision-making. The pull towards a major shift asks for thoughtful navigation, not haste. Right now, you're standing at a pivotal junction in your life, where each path leads to a different version of your future. Choosing wisely means honoring what aligns with your values, even if it challenges expectations or feels intimidating. Rather than rushing into action, allow yourself the clarity to sense where your energy fits best. This isn't about selecting the easiest option, but choosing what feels more resonant with who you are and who you want to become. Trust that inner knowing. It knows more than you realize. And remember, while every option has merits, only one is meant to lead you forward in this new chapter. Take your time to assess how each choice will affect your sense of alignment. Ask yourself, which direction allows me to grow? Which one builds integrity? Your ability to choose wisely hinges less on external approval and more on the internal echoes of true alignment. By honoring that, you set the tone for the transformation ahead. This isn't about perfection, it's about conscious movement. Choosing wisely positions you into a place of empowerment, turning uncertainty into a foundation for meaningful change. Justice brings balance and clarity to your decision-making process. It reminds you that your choices have weight, not just for yourself, but for others. This card encourages you to consider fairness, responsibility, and truth. Look at the details, see what feels honorable. Your choices aren't impulsive, they're measured, informed, and guided by moral clarity. Even when faced with tempting shortcuts, justice calls you to stay aligned with integrity. It's about matching your ideals to your actions. As you make decisions now, anchor them in honesty and fairness. Those are the qualities that build lasting change. Nothing more, nothing less. This doesn't mean overthinking or delaying. It means giving your inner voice the room to be heard. With justice supporting you, you can move forward with the assurance that your choices speak to your character as a whole. So think of justice as your internal scales, balancing compassion with clarity, heart with principles, and action with accountability. Once the ethical groundwork is laid, the Knight of Pentacles brings in consistent, steady progression. Here's your call to craft structures around your decision, daily habits, realistic plans, or even logistical steps that you can take to make your goal tangible. Small progress compounds quickly. This is not about ambitious leaps, it's about showing up. Your power will build in those quiet moments where consistency meets intention. If you set a direction now and follow through week by week, your transformation will gather momentum naturally. Feel free to document small wins. Celebrate them. This makes the shift feel real, even when progress is slow. And slow progress is still progress. Meaningful change often doesn't arrive in one headline. It arrives in the steady rise of your choices, day after day. Remember, structure supports growth. When you ground intention in actions, even moderate effort begins to shine. Here's where self-awareness becomes essential. The Page of Cups reversed reflects a part of you that's hesitant to reopen emotionally. Perhaps previous disappointment have made you wary of vulnerability. You might feel guarded, reluctant to risk feeling deeply again, even if something new is calling. This isn't discouragement, it's protection. You've been here before, and you sense the possibility of hurt. But resembling caution doesn't mean shutting off all emotional exploration. Let this card guide you to balance openness with healthy boundaries. You can remain caring without leaving yourself vulnerable. Emotional hesitancy may echo past patterns, but it doesn't define your future. Notice the discomfort, not with judgment, but with curiosity about what's supporting or blocking your continued growth. This is your opportunity to refine your emotional filters, not fear them. You don't have to be fully unguarded. You don't just have to remain closed. And that middle ground is where true progression lives. This position contrasts appearance with substance. The Nine of Cups reversed shows a desire for fulfillment that may be built on shaky ground. You yearn for joy, satisfaction, or recognition, but you sense something missing, something hollow in what once felt complete. That is a powerful wake-up call. You're recognizing that some past versions of happy no longer serve you. You're no longer interested in chasing illusions. Instead, your vision has matured. It's shifting towards meaningful abundance, not quick gratification. This truth tests you to stay honest about what you want. It's okay if what made you feel complete before doesn't carry the same weight now. Let your new vision form through introspection, not impulse. Redefining what enough looks like for you today in the context of deeper alignment. When you ground satisfaction in purpose rather than payoff, fulfillment becomes more resilient to life's storms. This final card marks your release from internal battles. Mental clutter, old competition, or the lingering echoes of regret, the reversed Five of Swords signals that you're choosing peace, resolution, and integrity over conflict or guilt. Whatever inner barbs have held you back are being untangled. You're turning away from internal destabilization. You won't rehash what's already lost. Instead, you're choosing clarity. This resolution brings freedom. With mental clutter cleared, your path forward becomes visible and energizing. This card also suggests external shifts. possibly reconciling or disengaging from a drama that no longer aligns with your next chapter. This clarity allows you to once again stand with your own center rather than being pulled sideways. Ultimately, this signals a rebirth of your mental and emotional space, preparing you to move forward with purpose and ease. So that's what I'm getting for pile 3. If this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe. See you next time.